Now, we've all been there, right? We've all been there at a point where something tragic or significant happens in our lives that causes us to go, whoa, you know what? I need to kind of reshuffle my priorities and, try to get on top of the things that are important to me, right? It's this experience might have given you a new perspective. And so that's kind of the situation that my friend is in right now. Now, my friend recently came to me and was like, JC, I know that you've sort of been on top of your finances, your health, your fitness, your relationships, etc. And so he kind of asked me, what are you doing to help you stay on top of the various areas of your life or your priorities? And so I shared with him what I did, and it was ultimately something that I didn't realize just how impactful it was until he started doing it. And then he was like, oh my God, JC, this is actually changing my life. And so I want to share that with you. So Ruben, again, he wants to kind of do a complete life overhaul. And so what I told him was, all right, this is what you're going to this is what you're going to do. It's going to sound so simple that you're going to be like, there's no way that this is going to work. But it actually has been working for him. And so I'm going to share it with you. So what I told Ruben was, what are the different areas? Let's start there. What are the different areas of your life that you'd like to change, right? And so Ruben said, what I'd like to do is I'd like to be on top of my health and my fitness and diet. I'd like to be on top of my finances and budgeting and things like that. I'd like to do more journaling in my life. I'd like to also make some improvements in my hobby, in my career, etc. And so what I said to him was, you know what you're going to do? How about this? Start off with a Word document, right? So let's say there are 5 different areas of your life that you want to improve in. You're going to create 5 Word documents and you're going to label them. At the top of each Word document, you're going to put the area of your life. So, document number 1 will be health. Document number 2 will be finances. Document number 3 will be hobbies, etc., etc. And then I said to him, this is what I did. One day a week, I'm going to look at each of these areas of my life. So for example, I'll just tell you what mine is now. On Mondays, I look at my business. Tuesdays, I look at my health, fitness, and diet plan. Wednesdays, I'm looking at my social relationships. Thursday, I'm looking at my finances and budgeting and wealth. Friday, I'm looking at my life goals. Saturday, I'm journaling, etc., etc. And so I told him that, and he was like, okay, so, and what am I doing? And I said, and then once you pick a day, what you're going to do is for 1 minute to 2 minutes a day, you're going to look at that specific document. So for example, for me, on Mondays, I look at my business document, and I just add to it. Every Monday, I add to it. Tuesdays, I might add something to my health and fitness document. Wednesdays, I'm looking at my social relationships and I'm adding to it, etc., etc. And so doing this process has ultimately caused me to constantly be looking at the different areas of my life that I want to improve on. And so before I start making those improvements, I need to just look at that area of my life. So I'll just take the finance document, for example. When I'm looking at my finances, I'm looking at a variety of different things, right? I'm looking at my credit score. I'm looking at my assets. I'm looking at my liabilities. I'm looking at my debt. I'm looking at my expenses. I'm looking at how much money I'm making, etc. In order for me to make improvements in my financial life, I need to be looking at those things regularly. And so Thursday is my day where I look at my finances. And so for 1 minute to 2 minutes a day, I might just look at the document. I may not add anything to it. But more times than not, I'm going to add something to it, right? I might go into my Bank of America or Chase or, whatever my bank is, and I'm going to add something to that finance document. Over time, what ends up happening is once you do this practice of looking at your finances, let's say 1 day a week, ultimately what ends up happening is you start adding things to it. You start, taking things out. You start simplifying the document. And what you start realizing is that you start playing this game where it's like, well, how can I improve my assets? How can I add to that? How can I reduce my expenses? How can I, improve my credit score, etc.? And ultimately what ends up happening is after a year of looking at my daily, so again, Monday business, Tuesday health, Wednesday relationships, Thursday budget and finances, what ultimately happens is over time, you start to get a handle of all these different areas of your life. But the only way that happens is if I take the time out of my day to look at these different areas of my life. And looking at these areas of my life isn't cumbersome. It's not something that I'm like, thinking about all the time. It's just 1 or 2 minutes a day I'm looking at it. And that's it. Every morning I look at these dailies. And that's what I call them. I call them dailies, right? And so I look at these dailies, and over time, what ends up happening is I start to improve in all of these different areas. So then ultimately, that's how my friend Ruben goes, yo, JC, how are you on top of your money? How are you on top of your finances? How are you on top of your health? How is it that, you're making money off your business, etc.? And it's only because for 1 or 2 minutes a day, because that's really all I have time to do, is I'm making improvements in all of these areas of my life. And so that's something that I shared with my friend. I might have just said his name's Ruben, but ultimately, sharing this with my friend Ruben has caused him to start to make incremental changes in all these different areas of his life. And so this is how you manage your life. This is how you do it. You're not, I think a lot of times people will look at their life. They'll be like, I want to do a complete overhaul. The complete overhaul doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient with the process in order to make these changes to all the different areas of your life. Because when someone says, I want to make changes to all these different areas of my life, again, it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to be overwhelming, right? I mean, when I first started, there was a situation in my life that caused me to think, I want to kind of get a better handle of all of the different areas of my life. That's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen like that for anybody. And so the first step is to do something real small, a simple first step. Just open up 4 or 5 documents, pick a day which you're going to look at, pick a day for each of the documents. Put on each of the documents an area of your life that you'd like to look at. So again, health, finances, hobbies, life goals, whatever it is. And over time, you're going to add to it. Those dailies will essentially be the tools that you will use to start making changes in every area of your life. This process of looking at your dailies has improved Ruben's life tremendously. And so it's something that I just wanted to share with you guys, and he wanted me to share with you guys on YouTube. If you guys like this idea and you want to experiment with it, please do experiment with it and let me know whether or not it helps you. And again, it's going to take time. So it may not be, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever, but, a month, 2 months, 3 months, that's when you start to really see those changes to all these different areas of your life. The way I like to think of it is, you can't beat an enemy you can't see. So it's important that you see your enemy, right, before you can actually start beating it. And beating it, the enemy I'm talking about are these different areas of your life, right? With that said, I hope this video helps you out. If you have any questions, send them to my email at jcvaldezcoach@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it. So hold firm in the struggle. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.